It's the biggest crowd I've seen at a greyhound meet ever. Good luck, everyone. Slot holders, trainers, owners and fans, we're set to go. The Phoenix.
Well, if that doesn't get you revved up ahead of the Phoenix in 2024, I'm not exactly sure what will. Hello and welcome to the Phoenix Flight Path episode number 1 as we count down to the great race in December of 2024. I'm joined by Smithy once again. Lean Smithy, let me tell you. He's looking $1 million. Nice white shirt, mate. How are you?
Well, I was wearing something else, and you said that's just not up to scratch, Corey. You need to go put a Phoenix T-shirt on. So I've grabbed one straight out of the box. It's got all the lines in it, the fold lines. My mum, who is, of course, a big fan of the Phoenix Flight Path podcast, she's going to be grumpy with me, Jim. She's not going to be happy that I haven't ironed it beforehand, but you didn't give me much lead time.
Well, mate, I've got to be honest, there's something I'm pissed off with too, and that's the weather. What the hell's going on? Beautiful sunshine, plenty of wind. I'm sorry if you can hear a bit of a wind gust down the line. There's not too much we can do about Mother Nature, but the Meadows team have assured me, Smithy, that come the grand final night, the Phoenix, the great race, 0 wind, sun shining at 10 o'clock at night. That's what they've told me.
Fingers crossed, fingers, toes, everything crossed for that. We can never promise it, particularly when you're on course, because they don't call you Windy Jim for nothing. You just seem to bring it with you, and there's probably another way of coming up with that nickname as well.
It's actually coming out from the rear end, so you're exactly right, mate. Sorry for the smell, but that's what you can hear on the line. But I actually wanted to mention, it's a funny segue you give there that wasn't actually planned, but off the top, we're going to chat about the Phoenix, the great race. We're going to have a chat with Jihad Talgi a bit later on in the show, of course, winner of the last year's edition and how it changed his life and what he's up to now and what his boy Schillaci's up to at the moment. But it got me thinking when you just said about Windy Jim, about memorable stories at the Meadows. Now, you probably have one most recently winning a Group 1. Is that your biggest highlight since being at the Meadows?
I think it would be tough to beat, Jim. Tough to beat that one.
My funny story is I had gastro one day. And anyway, I've wandered up the stairs to call the meeting, and I was about 5 minutes short of a preview. Anyway, I thought I'll go set the gate. Got to the top of the step, can't go on. So I've retreated back down the stairs into the disabled toilet upstairs here, and I thought I'm just going to have to go in there, pass what needs to be passed, and then get back up there for the preview. So I had 5 minutes. I was lodged in there for 20 minutes. Gastro, couldn't get off the toilet. Nearly missed the first race. Absolute disaster. So that probably comes in as my number 1 memory at the track, just because every time I wander up the stairs, I think of that treacherous night. But number 2 for me was the Phoenix when I called Wow, She's Fast. I actually went back and watched the replay, and I don't want to pump up my tyres, which I do often do.
Just occasionally, Jim.
But I actually listened to the call and watched the replay again, and it gave me goosebumps listening to myself. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, you're a cocksmack. But the race itself, it just meant so much to me calling it, because I remember the actual atmosphere, the crowd, the noise, and I thought, gee, I've buggered this one up. It wasn't probably my greatest call, but it was the most memorable call that I've done. I think it actually outweighed the Melbourne Cups that I've called.
Yeah, there's obviously been plenty of good moments here. I remember coming here when Fanabale won the Australian Cup, and those sort of things kind of inspired me to get involved more in greyhound racing, and kind of is probably the reason why I'm here. But that first Phoenix, I think everyone that was on track, every doubter that there was about the concept or the race or the quality, the calibre of the people and slot holders and dogs that would get involved, I think that just quietened it all down, and everyone said this is an unbelievable opportunity for greyhound racing, and the Phoenix has just gone from strength to strength since that first year as well.
And the storylines too. I mean, to have Wow, She's Fast go back-to-back to start it off, and then have Schillaci, a pizza shop owner, win the $1 million race. I mean, I think of the Meadows when they created this baby, I don't think anyone would have been able to forecast what's actually translated in the first few years.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't think we'd change it at all. And everything that's happened, my mum always says, second mention on the show for my mum, she always says everything happens for a reason. And to have the winners that we've had so far, the storylines that we've had, the talkability that's come out of each and every edition, it's just been absolutely phenomenal, and long may it continue.
What about the Melbourne Cup? Is that the lead-up race to the Phoenix to be successful? We see most of the runners go through the Melbourne Cup on the way to the Phoenix. This year, just take a look at the sports bet market. Chances are you're going to lose. 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. But Explicit leads the race ahead of Excavation, $6, $9 respectively. Big Energy, who's back to his best all of a sudden. It's come from nowhere. Credit to the Greenos, $12. Then down to Field Day, Flying Zulu, Hotel Whiskey 1, Lakeview Emily and Morton rounds out the top 8 or 10 there at about $14. Is the winner of the Phoenix going to come through that? And do you think, as a tool moving forward, that is the race that the punters or the trainers are going to go, well, if something comes out of the Melbourne Cup, they go on to do well in the Phoenix?
I think it's probably more the slot holders are keeping an eye on it. We saw the first year Koblenz was basically picked immediately after the Melbourne Cup. Last year, Aussie Rocks probably got thrown up into consideration, ended up being one of the reserves for the Phoenix, didn't quite get a slot. But I have no doubt all these big races, whether it be a shootout, whether it be a Top Gun, whether it be the Melbourne Cup, all these big races at this time of year, the slot holders are all watching, they're all paying attention, and if you come out and win a Melbourne Cup in impressive fashion, then you really are going to be considered.
What about if you come out and win a Bold Trees? Do you then come into contention? Because it's something we're probably not going to see too much of, but there's a certain dog who's probably going to go to a Bold Trees off a very, very fast trial, 29.06 over the 500, they tell me on Monday night. Smithy, All Class we speak of. Is there a chance he could win a Bold Trees to Top Gun Stayers and then compete in a Phoenix?
Normally when you do these sort of media things, you just get the bottom line that says Corey Smith host or Corey Smith greyhound expert, all these sort of things. I think it's just becoming Corey Smith All Class now. I think he's become my whole personality, but yeah, he did trial well over the 500 on Monday night after the last, and who knows, mate? Who knows? If Phoenix slot holders are out there listening and paying attention to the form, it'd be one hell of a story if he stepped back from 700 metres down to 500 and managed to compete. But the times are there. He's gone 29.56 here. They don't go much quicker than that.
No, Smithy, you've got a good case to argue. Hence, we're doing the podcast. It was off. There was no Phoenix flight path. There was no budget for it. All of a sudden, All Class is there. Smithy said to his boss, Woocatch, I think we should put something together because...
straight out of the syndicate fund, Jim. Just it's all going to be All Class propaganda for the next 6 weeks now. But in all seriousness, I can't wait to see the way that the field shapes up.
What about our top 8 seeds? Something that we've done last year that we're bringing into this year's edition of the Phoenix Flight Path. And you can kick it off, mate, with your top 8 at the moment. And there's a little bit of arrogance, I reckon, with your number 8.
I was going to put him in as an honourable mention, but we've obviously got Excavation, who has been signed up for Aaron Bain and Summit Bloodstock. We've got Explicit, who's signed up to Awesome Lodge, and Rinse the Lot, who's signed up to Melbourne Storm. So we've got 3 out of the way early, so we only have to pick 5, Jim. And I know Splinters Vandermaat, which is your nickname, you get a little bit nervous about picking these fields, but we're going to rip through them anyway. I've got in at number 4 seed right now was a dog that went 5 O's here on Top Gun night, and I love that first sectional, particularly feeding into a Phoenix. That dog is, of course, Hotel Whiskey 1. Lakeview Emily, who I think is one of the most underrated greyhounds in the country, has good early speed. She's strong in the run home. I think she'd shape up really well in a Phoenix. Flying Zulu's got one of the fastest times of the year. And now I'm going to throw a curly one into the works because Racing Queensland is a slot holder and they're going to run their race. So I've got to put a Queensland dog in there. Okay. I didn't mention it to you, but I'm going to put in Autumn Storm, who beat Smooth Plane in the Ipswich Cup, and he's a very talented greyhound. And then in for number 8. He can be no higher, otherwise I start being a little bit too biased, Jim, but number 8, All Class. Who knows? If he wins a Bold Trees and then comes out and runs in a Phoenix, that would be some story.
It'd be an extraordinary story. I'm taking your mic, Smithy, because you're getting no wind noise on your mic. So the headset's coming off, and we're just going to chat like this because I think the family who are tuning into the podcast are going to say, Jimmy, all I can hear is that bloody wind. My top 8. Number 8, I've done Flying Zulu. I reckon a bit of a hard luck story in the recent Group 1, the Top Gun, has proven that he can race at this level. So he goes in at number 8, 7 All Class.
So you've gone even higher than me?
Well, I didn't have him in there, and then I thought, well, I'm doing the podcast with you, so we better make it in there somewhere. So All Class 7. On a serious note, take you away. You step aside for a sec, like you do on the Top Gun panel. All Class, fast dog. We know he can run the time. Slot holders out there. He's a good mate of mine, Smithy, and he deserves to have a runner in a race like the Phoenix. Jump back in, mate. Lakeview Emily in at number 6 for me. Just an excitement machine when she gets it right. Yeah, she can be a little bit hard to follow, but I think if slot holders decide to go down her path, you know she's going to run a really competitive race. Tim Zoo in at number 5. I think nobody would have Tim Zoo at number 5. You go through his numerical form and it is poor, but you look at the races, the way they've been ran, he's just had no luck whatsoever. So Tim Zoo comes in at 5, Hotel Whiskey 1. I've still got him at 4. Whether or not he's going to do what he did here at the Meadows at Sandown, we're probably going to have to wait to the Melbourne Cup heats to find that out. But what he did here the other night, I think just screamed out, I'm a front runner, I can run 1750s down the back at the Meadows, so I can lead you a Phoenix. And if I'm a slot holder, I'm trying to buy the greyhound that's in front coming off the back. Schillaci, wow, she's fast. They've all done it from the front. So that's Hotel Whiskey 1. And then I've actually ranked the top 3, and I've done Rinse the Lot, number 3, 2 excavation, 1 explicit. I still rate him as the number 1, even though you might have to alter the graphic that you put together here. Sorry, Smith.
Just extra work for me, Jim.
Yeah, a little bit of extra work,
Yeah,
but explicit for me is number 1. So is he still the best dog in Australia right now?
I think he is. I think Excavation you could argue that he might be the most informed dog in the country. I think they're 1A and 1B, regardless of which way you're looking at it. But I've been saying it for months that Explicit's the best dog in the country, and I'm certainly not jumping off that bandwagon.
Best trainer in the game right now, Jason Thompson. When you think, like I go through mine, he's got half the field in the Phoenix after having half the field in the Top Gun. Like it's crazy.
It's insane, the sort of calibre of the kennel that he has right now. Like you read out the market a little bit earlier of the Melbourne Cup, and his dogs are just all up the pointy end. It doesn't matter what all-in market you look at. There's Jay Thompson at the top of the list every time.
I know you're advertising for Can You All Class, but take him aside. Why is the Phoenix such a good race? And why do you want to win it as an owner? Like, what makes the Phoenix the Phoenix?
Well, the $1 million prize probably helps as well, Jim.
Cashies.
We removed that from the equation, and I honestly believe, and I know I'm very biased, and I've been here for all the Phoenixes and been a part of it, but I honestly believe that it's the biggest vessel of opportunity that we have in greyhound racing. I think we hit different target markets the best that we can possibly do by using the 8 slot holders, and by kind of getting a different sort of atmosphere on course. I always describe it as a tribal atmosphere on course that night, and we don't get that any other night of the year. Top Guns are great, Melbourne Cups are phenomenal, you've got golden Easter eggs, you've got $1 million chases, that's all unbelievable, but on course, the night of the Phoenix, don't know whether it's because it's so close to Christmas or whether it's just the quality of the field, the excitement on the night is just absolutely unbelievable.
I think it's the vested interest that so many people have. For example, there's been slot holders who have had 100 people invested into that greyhound for that particular race, and I know from a broadcasting perspective, mate, that Phoenix that I called, I've just never heard noise like it. And if you go down and listen to any replay on the Watchdog, and thanks to Watchdog Racing for all of the audio and vision for the podcast, if you listen to any of those races, you can actually hear the noise. And when I was putting together the intro the other night, the missus came in and she goes, "Why are you adding the background noise, the cheer?" I said, "That's not adding. That is the noise. It's like you're 30 metres in the air here, and the noise from downstairs just powers through the microphone. It's just the most exciting race. Can't wait to see how it plays out." Form expert. The old historic stingers back on the new edition of the podcast, Smithy. Form expert. We're taking a look at Wednesday night racing. We're recording these and we're going to try and get them out nice and early in the week. 6 episodes in the lead up to the Phoenix, but we're doing a little bit of Wednesday night form. Just I guess a little way to add a bit of cash into the bank. Gamble responsibly, of course. No guarantee. Absolutely no guarantees, but hopefully add some cash into the bank so we can buy a Can You All Class for the Phoenix next year. Do you like something Wednesday night here? Only 10 on the card.
Especially no guarantees when it's you and I tipping, and I know the trainers get a little bit grumpy when I start tipping on these podcasts because usually it means that I'm pulling their table, but I'm going to, at their tail, not their table. Race 6, I'm going to go with the inside draw, Go Evie. So it's going to be Robbie Lasser that's going to be a little bit grumpy with me. I reckon he'll be able to punch up, hold the lead. There'll be a little bit of pressure from the 3 and Captain Alice, but I think we'll be able to punch up and hold the inside.
Well, mate, I'm not too sure what pulling a table is, but I'll just be having a bet. Race 4, number 2, Mr. Miyagi for me. Johnny Barbara trains. I call him the Wizard. Such a good man is Johnny Barbara. Really impressive first up win at Geelong, 25.93, and he normally does a lot of sort of pre-training work here at the Meadows. So although this greyhound hasn't raced here, the win showed me that he'll run 500 A and B, that he would have been here in a trial and probably would have performed well. So happy to be with race 4, number 2 as my best. As we say farewell to you, Smithy, I'm about to pack up here from the Meadows. Beautiful venue too. I was actually just admiring the sand of the track before we went on air, and to be honest, I think from a perspective of people who sit at home and maybe watch the races, they actually don't realise how mega and how impressive the structure is here at the Meadows and the amenities. It's an amazing setup.
Yeah, it is. Again, I'm biased, and there's going to be a hell of a lot of biased takes here on the Flight Path podcast over the next 6 weeks, but it's phenomenal. The team that we have out on the track are the best in the business, and they do a fantastic job keeping all of the grounds in A1 nick.
Good on you, Smithy. Chat to you next week, mate. We'll be doing them Zoom. I haven't got that much fuel in the locker to keep driving down the ring road, so we'll go from Zoom. But it was nice to sit down and get episode 1 out of the way here live in the flesh, mate. Good to see you. You're looking well.
Thanks, brother. You too.
Really?
Inside info.
Well, I'm not really sure if we can call this segment Inside Info. It's more of a success story from last year's Phoenix. The champion, of course, of 2023 was Schillaci. It was another fairy tale result in a race that is becoming a fairy tale producing race, the Phoenix, a life-changing race, I think you could say. And the special guest we have on the line right now is from his pizza shop in Carrum Downs, Jihad Talgi on the line. Talg, how good is this, mate? You've taken a break from cooking and flipping pizzas. I'm not sure you flipped them, but taken a break anyway to chat to us, mate. So thank you. How you going?
Yeah, good, James. Good. Thanks for letting me have a break, mate. It's pretty tiring working.
Well, mate, you've been asking me for a while to get you on so you can have a 5 or 10 minute break, because ever since you won the Phoenix, is it true that the pizza shop has not stopped? It's been that busy.
Yeah, it has been pretty busy. It's been good. It's been good.
Mate, talk to me about this journey last year into the Phoenix. Obviously, your boy Schillaci, who means the world to you, and getting to the Phoenix, the road to the Phoenix. Talk us through the couple of months leading up to the big dance.
Yeah, I always had in mind to go to Adelaide for the Derby, and because he was going so well, and I know Glenn Rounds, he's won a couple of Oakses in Adelaide, and I've always sort of dreamed to have a dog that could run the Derby there, and he was good enough to go there, so we went there just going for the Derby, nothing else. And then because he went so well and he ran so good and ran fast times, and Dad hadn't seen those sort of times since Welsh's Fast had been there and Aston Rupee, I thought, how good's this? And they told me about the Maat series, that you get a golden ticket to the Adelaide. And so then we went back the week after for the golden ticket, and we won that. Beating good dogs like Transponder and Big Energy, and he got the golden ticket. Unfortunately, he was unlucky in the Adelaide Cup, drawn box 5, and a young dog, and there was a massive crowd decide where the boxes are, and there was a huge noise, and sort of the dogs were getting spooked. So anyway, it was unlucky, and we didn't win the race. But then we come back home and have a couple of weeks off, and then go to Sandown, and he wins at Sandown in 29-20, and then all of a sudden, the name of Phoenix, the race gets put into calculations, because you're getting phone calls saying, mate, we've got a slot, are you interested? And that's how it all began. And end of the day, 3 slot holders come to me. But in the end, I ended up sitting down with Ryan Stanaway from Ladbrokes, and we done a deal and signed, and the rest is history, James.
It's an awesome story, mate. Could you believe that as a hobby trainer, I know you've been training dogs for pretty much your whole life, for a long, long journey, but could you believe as a hobbyist who works full-time as a pizza shop owner that you're even sitting down in a room having conversations with your boy to race in a Phoenix? It must have been a bit surreal.
It was surreal, and, even I remember in Adelaide, Cal Green, they come up to me after winning the Maat series. He said to me, they'll all come for you for the Phoenix. And I said, I don't know. I think he's pretty immature at the moment. He was only a young dog. Like, he was only probably 2 years, just over 2 years of age. And I thought, they won't come for me. He goes, they will. And he was right. They did come. And it was just unbelievable having Ryan there. And on a day that I signed, and then I'm going to the night of the Top Gun, it was just all happening so fast. It's just unbelievable how a journey goes so fast. Like we're talking a year ago now that he was signed for the Phoenix, and it's just happened so quickly. But the good thing about that, James, is everywhere I go, everybody comes up still that haven't seen me, can still congratulate me and still talk about that night,
I think a lot of people enjoyed the result, that's for sure. What about the race itself? I mean, I was behind the boxes there as the sort of roving person for racing.com, and just to see the sheer emotion of what it meant to you to win a race like this. You were 20-1. You probably weren't expected to win, but I know you had the faith in your boy that if everything went right, he was well and truly good enough to win it.
That first 10 metres out of a box, if you get it right, he's good enough to beat anybody. But if he gets it wrong, well, he's at the back of the pack. And that's majority of the dogs in any race. If you don't jump, you're in trouble. But, yeah, winning the race and seeing him in front, just the and I'm pretty calm behind the box. I don't barrack and I don't yell and scream. But that night, seeing him in front and knowing that a few people had sort of written him off and sort of questioned Ladbrokes for going with him and taking him so early, it was just relief that, it was more relief than anything else that he'd actually done it. And when you breed a dog and you see him from the age of 3 months and you love that dog from the age of 3 months getting born and running around your backyard, because lucky Kiribatakis, he wiped them down for me, and they got home at my place at 3 months of age. So, we used to go around there all the time to see them from the day they were born to the day they came home. And to name him after my son, which I love dearly and I love all my kids, but to have his name pinned to him, it was extra special.
It's an absolute fairy tale. And for those trainers who haven't experienced what it's like to win a Group 1 or a Phoenix, which in my opinion is quickly becoming the greatest race on the calendar, how would you explain winning the actual race? For those who have never done it, and a lot of people, let's face it, never will do it, how do you explain the actual feeling of winning a Phoenix?
I've always wanted to win a Melbourne Cup. Corey Smith asked me to do a little write-up on what it meant to us and what it's done to us. And I said to him, mate, I always wanted to win the Melbourne Cup because the Melbourne Cup was the biggest race in the land. But after winning the Phoenix and going through all the emotions that week and all the atmosphere and the media coverage, I want to win another Phoenix, mate. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I want to win another Phoenix. And I know the Melbourne Cup's coming around this week, and, mate, we'll be there hoping to win it. But, yeah, I'd love to be in the Phoenix again, because coming out of the kennels and walking to the boxes, that music that they had on was, mate, it was like I was going out to the MCG playing for Collingwood. It just gave you that much of a thrill. And after winning it, you just felt like you just won a flag. You just felt like you won a grand final. You won the Norm Smith. It was just an unbelievable adrenaline rush. And look, I probably embarrassed you on the night because I kept telling you how much I loved you, mate. You know what I mean?
Mate, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And, you and I are pretty close now, James, but, to have you behind the boxes interviewing me and you grabbing me saying, mate, you've done it, unbelievable, And I'll be honest with you, I went through a lot of hard work to get him to jump, because when he hit his head on the boxes in the Top Gun, he just lost all confidence coming out, and that's all it was. Before that, you go and watch the replays of all of his starts. He used to pin the lids, especially in Adelaide, pin the lids, you know what I mean? And that night when he hit his head, he just lost all confidence. And we had to get it all back, and I thank Graham Jose for helping me jumping him out and getting him right for that night.
It's a great story, mate. Talk to us about 12 months later, the journey right now. He was the underdog, I guess, going in last year. He's maybe even more of an underdog right now. His numerical form maybe not speaking volumes to the way that I and you know that he's travelling. I think he broke the track record at Sale in a trial. If the Phoenix slot holders, there's 5 of them left as we go to air tonight, haven't picked a greyhound haven't picked a greyhound yet. What would you say to them about your boy Schillaci? Can he do it? Because a lot of people thought, wow, she's fast, couldn't go back to back, and she did, and maybe he's a big race winner.
The thing is with him, James, he's going better than last year. That's the frightening thing. He's going better than last year. Like Thursday night was unfortunate. Last Friday night in the preludes of the Melbourne Cup was unfortunate. He missed it a little bit, but then when he went to muster, he got cleaned up by Hotel Whiskey 1 and got sandwiched with him at Epitomise. Like he was in the meat of the sandwich. All I needed was tomato and cheese, and it would have been a perfect sandwich, But in the end, he got cleaned up, but he was still coming on the line. You go back and watch that replay. On the line, he's still trying. He's really going better than last year. His time suggests that his trials are better than last year. And I think he's a better Meadows dog than what he is a Sandown dog. He just seems to really thrive at the Meadows. His last start, the night of the Silver Bullet, he had box 4, missed it, hunted up, went through the pack beautifully, and just Silky Sauce sort of stopped his tracks a couple of times and lost momentum and placing, and he come again, and they still broke 30 seconds. I feel that if he hadn't got through, he would have won by 5 and ran 29.70. That's how good he was going.
Well, I love the Phoenix trainers making cases for their greyhounds, and I don't think it could be too much stronger, Talge, than the defending champ saying, I think he's going better than last year. So that's an exciting step moving forward. I get the feeling if he comes out on Melbourne Cup heat night and he can produce what Schillaci can produce, as Cal Greeno once said, the slot holders will come running. I think that might be the key. Hey, just before we let you run, Talge, I've heard so much about this pizza shop. You've offered me 1 or 2 free garlic and cheese pizzas along the journey that I haven't been able to get down and get. I'm going to do it soon, but can you take us on a little bit of a tour of this world-famous pizza shop? Because everybody that I speak to, they all say Talgi, the pizza shop owner who won the biggest race in the game, the Phoenix. Talk to us about Uncle Drew's and give us a little bit of a guide as to how to make a nice pizza.
No worries, I'll get you through now. I'll just turn the camera around so you can have a look.
Here we go.
So this is the oven. Pizzas are coming out of the oven nicely.
Open for business right now.
And this is Tanya, my pizza maker.
How are you, Tanya?
That's the pizza bars, a couple of orders on there. Can you see the toppings, mate?
Yeah, are you a pizza shop that gives a lot of toppings, or do you like to keep it light on?
No. We give a lot of toppings. You've got to have a lot of toppings.
Small base. They can't believe we're actually doing this, but you won $1 million in the Phoenix, so we can throw a pizza in the bin. That's okay.
That's the pizza menu there.
There you go.
If you have a look, I don't know if you can see from there, but that's the oven. But on top there, we've named the pizza called the Schillaci Special.
There you go. I might have to get you to send a photo of that. $5.90 for a garlic bread, so reasonably priced. I like that. Probably could be cheaper after winning the Phoenix, but here we go. Let's have a look. All right, so we got a small even. We got a small Hawaiian, so a little bit of ham goes on. This is Uncle Drew's.
The meat lovers, James.
All right, we're going with the meat. I was going to say, for a vegetarian like me, a bit of a disaster, this one, but that's okay. I tell you what, not only can this man win a Phoenix, he can cook some of the nicest pizzas in Melbourne. Look at that. Bit of barbecue sauce on top.
There it goes, straight in the oven with the other pizzas.
I tell you what, mate, you make it look absolutely easy. You're a wizard, Talgi. We appreciate your time coming on. What a man you are, hey. We've been in the pizza shop now. It'll probably take me about an hour and a half to get down there to grab that. So if you can swipe off a little bit of the meat, I might give it a crack. But we appreciate you coming on the podcast. I love the Collingwood emblem in the corner, the Schillaci special. You're a proud dad. Good on you, Talge. We appreciate you coming on, mate, and good luck with everything. Good luck with the Melbourne Cup Eats as well this week, mate. We'll be cheering for you.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.